Joining us right now is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a fighter. Congresswoman Greene, how you doing? Welcome back to the program.
Hi, Charlie. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Really good debate the other night. Was that your local congressional debate? What was that all about?
Yes, it was. That was my congressional debate for my district, Georgia's 14th district. And Charlie, I have to tell you the craziest thing. Here in Georgia, our debates are held in the city of Atlanta at the Atlanta Press Club. And I asked them last night, I said, next year when we do this, you guys need to come out to my district and allow my constituents to sit in, with an audience. Mm-hmm. They don't do that here in Georgia. We go to the Georgia Public Broadcasting studio in the Atlanta Press Club, host all the debates there in downtown Atlanta. But I think it should be in the district. So I debated Marcus Flowers, the Democrat candidate running against me that cannot win, by the way, because our district is so red, and also because my constituents support me, which I'm so grateful for. But Marcus Flowers is such a grifter. It's absolutely unreal. He has raised millions of dollars on basically an I Hate MTG campaign, of course, from mostly California Democrats and New York Democrats. So we had our debate, and I think I did pretty well.
Well, I think you did great, and I think that them attacking you and actually putting you into a race, I don't think it's competitive, is actually really stupid for them. And it's stupid because now you're campaigning, you're running ads, you're going to drive turnout, which will actually help Herschel in an indirect way. And so, you having a race. I mean, what is the composition of your district? Trump plus what?
Well, we're approximately 68% Republican. Okay,
I think you're going to be fine. Yeah.
Yes,
but,
I'm fine.
Yeah, I think it's going to drive some turnout for Herschel, and we're going to talk about Herschel in just a second.
Yes, it's important. You know what, though? I didn't have to debate him because I have such a solid lead, but I chose to debate him. A lot of people won't debate when they're sure they're going to win, but I chose to debate him because I wanted to debate the Democrat policies because they've been so destructive and they're so horrible, and everyone's lives are turned upside down right now. So I chose to debate. Other people set out their debates, but I think it's important for us to show up just because we need to defend our policies and explain what we're going to do when Republicans take back the House.
Yeah, that's well said. Let's play a piece of tape here from your debate. Play cut 1.
Party. The Democrat Party is the party of child abuse. It's the party that represents grooming children and sexualizing them in school, teaching anti-white racism in the terms of CRT education, and genital mutilation of kids that can't even get a driver's license, can't get a tattoo, and cannot vote.
Elaborate from there. Well said. Anti-white racism. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I'm talking about is it's the biggest trend coming from Democrats. If you're white, then you're obviously the worst person in the country, especially if you're a Trump Republican, if you're America first, if you care about our country and not the rest of the world, if you want to defend our borders and you're a white person, they basically call you a racist. And that is completely wrong. I recently spoke at a Trump rally and I said that over 5 million illegal aliens have invaded our country. And I said that they're replacing our jobs, they're replacing our kids in schools, and their culture is replacing ours. And I was attacked for saying that, but it's not wrong. But the Democrat Party is the party promoting anti-white racism, and we see it everywhere. Charlie, I'll say something. If you're a white male, you are last on the list in every single way for job promotions, to be accepted into college, to be chosen in any way. You are last on the list, and that's completely wrong. And I'll call out racism everywhere I see it. And this anti-white racism is growing, and it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Stacey Abrams just tweeted out a very racist Twitter thread yesterday talking about just more anti-white racism, and talking about how she wants to only promote Black communities here in Georgia, but yet she wants to be governor of Georgia. I'm sorry, if you're governor, you represent everyone in our state. And this is the sentiment that's coming from Democrats that is so very wrong, is this anti-white racism. Being American, we're all equal, and we need to put aside all of this identity political identity politics and racist name calling. We just need to all decide that we're all equal and stick with it. But that's not who the Democrats are. They are truly, truly the party of racism, and it's against white people.
I think that's right. And to say that out loud, people get very skittish. It's just the way it works. And it's too bad. We should reject racism in all of its forms and fashion and its evil manifestations. So I want to ask you about Herschel Walker. We're all in for Herschel. I think Herschel is a great guy, and I think he's being slandered and lied about. Herschel had a great debate against Raphael Warnock, and Donald Trump is 100% behind Herschel Walker. Tell us about Herschel. Tell us about it, because we really need you to drive real turnout for Herschel. We need the MAGA America First base to turn out for Herschel. Tell us about it.
Well, I feel very confident in rural Georgia turning out for Herschel Walker. That's my district, Charlie. We're a rural district, manufacturing district, very similar to the parts of Georgia where Herschel Walker came from, where he grew up. Very similar. And similar in our values, similar in our Christian faith, similar in our small towns and communities. We are supporting Herschel Walker because we want to defeat Raphael Warnock. And I think Herschel Walker did such a good job at the debate. I was so happy that the rest of the country finally got to see the Herschel Walker that I know, the Herschel Walker that most of us in Georgia know that have heard him speak before. He did such a good job. And I think he put a lot of the criticism to bed. Mm-hmm. And I truly feel like Herschel's going to win here in Georgia, and we're going to defeat Raphael Warnock, who calls himself a Christian, calls himself a pastor, but preaches abortion from the pulpit. And it's such an abomination. It's completely wrong. It's evil.
And I hate to say this, it really pains me, but the collapse of the Stacey Abrams campaign and Kemp, who's going to probably win by a lot, actually helps Herschel a lot.
Yes.
The widening gap, again, I am no Kemp fan, and I do think you should vote for Kemp over Stacey Abrams just because of how awful Abrams is. But I'm not a fan of Brian Kemp. I've made that very clear, and that hasn't changed. But it's a lesser of two evils. But don't you agree, if Kemp really runs up the score, there's only going to be so many Kemp-Warnock voters, right? There's not going to be, it's just, that will cap at maybe 5%, 6%. At some point, Herschel's going to benefit from a growing, cascading red wave. Is that right?
I believe so, but we can't just you think it's going to happen. Like, we have to turn out. And so everywhere I go and speak in my district and anywhere in Georgia, I say the race is not over until November 9th. We have to make sure that we turn out at the polls. And early voting started today, Charlie. Early voting started today here in Georgia. And so I'm encouraging everyone to get out and go vote now. Get it done this week.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so tell us why, because some of our audience doesn't agree with that. They say show up on Election Day. Why? Sorry to interrupt you, but tell us why.
Because I just want everyone to vote, and you can vote in person starting today. Early voting, you can vote in person. I think in-person voting is the best. I'm not a big fan of the absentee ballots, but you know what? If that's the only way some people can vote, I want them to vote. And I'm trying to tell every single person that voting is the most important thing that we can do going into November 8th. And if you are a day of Election Day voter, I love it. I support that too. I'm just supporting everyone voting, yes. Period.
Well, no, I'm right there with you. We did a whole hour on this, and I have to say our audience was very receptive of it. We had a couple cantankerous people emailing us. But again, I'm an Election Day guy. I'm going to wait in line. I'll wait an hour. I'll wait 2 hours. But, if you have a job, you have a big family, it's better to vote in person. But what you're saying is don't just throw a ballot into the mail, right? If you're going to vote early, go vote early in person. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. If you have a busy schedule, not everyone can wait hours in line. Some people have kids and they're just not able to do it. Some people have other commitments possibly that day. So early voting is great because it's available for several weeks leading into November 8th. And so I just encourage people to vote whenever they can and just get the job done. That's our responsibility. Go and vote and get the job done. It's so important, especially here in Georgia, that it is night and day difference between Stacey Abrams and her communist policies versus Governor Kemp and his policies. And I'm always grateful to Governor Kemp because he did keep our state open, Charlie. And that can't be said enough. It was so important for us here in Georgia, especially me being a business owner and knowing so many
I don't know.
people.
I'm not a Kemp guy. Kemp pissed me off. Excuse my language. He's not a good person, but he's better than Stacey Abrams. But I appreciate the sentiment. I do think you should vote for Kemp, but he's not a good person. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene, stay right there. Everyone...
First and foremost, I swore an oath to the Constitution, and I represent the citizens of the United States of America, not DACA recipients. And I...
Ooh, we lost the tape. Anyway, it goes on to say that Joe Biden is the best business partner the Mexican drug cartels have ever had. Tell us about it.
Well, Joe Biden is the best business partner the Mexican cartels have ever had. He is enabling them and helping them smuggle drugs into our country. Also, human trafficking is who even knows the numbers? We don't know the numbers. But with fentanyl killing 300 people a day, that's unreal. It's the #1 cause of death for young people ages 18 to 45. Charlie, Joe Biden is helping the Mexican cartels do their business, and I believe this year it's said to be that they made around something like $13 billion. $13 billion, and that's what Joe Biden is doing. It's really interesting. Joe Biden loves to do business in foreign countries, and yet he hasn't been to the border at all, and he's the president of the United States of America. What an outrage. And the guy asked me, that was Josh Rowe, he asked me the question about DACA recipients in my district, and he named one particular city, Dalton, which is in Whitfield County, where we have most of the largest carpet and flooring manufacturers in the world are located there. And he was trying to tell me that many of the employees at these big manufacturing companies are DACA recipients. And he was saying that if we repeal DACA and deport these people, that these companies would go out of business. That's what he was trying to tell me, that they would go out of business and not have workers anymore. And I completely disagreed with him. And I started off by telling him, I swore an oath to the Constitution, and I serve the citizens of our country, not DACA recipients or illegal aliens.
That's exactly right. Yes, of course.
Yes.
I mean, and why are we deindustrializing ourselves to foreign labor? That's not who you swore an oath to. You have an oath to American citizens in your district. Is that I would imagine that's a popular position, right?
Absolutely. And Charlie, I went on to explain, we have trade schools in my district. There's so many kids that are going off and taking on major loans, going to college, wasting 4 or more years of their life to get a useless degree from colleges and universities that are major profit centers that also receive federal funds that are taxpayer dollars. And these kids graduate from college, young adults graduate from college with a useless degree, and they can get a job making $40,000 a year. But yet trade schools, I'll give you an example. Southeastern Lineman School in Dade County is one of the greatest schools. I love it. They train kids within either 9 weeks or 16 weeks. Once they finish up, they are a certified electrician. They are a certified commercial truck driver. They walk out of that school with multiple job opportunities, starting around $80,000 a year. And linemen working overtime, like the great lineman that just helped out in Florida after the terrible hurricane that just recently took so many lives and caused so much devastation. Working overtime in emergency situations like that, they make over $100,000 a year. Think about that. That is a 6-figure salary with 9 or 16 weeks of education. Trade schools are wonderful. So what I answered in my question is no, we are not going to lose all these workers if DACA is repealed. These companies are not going to go out of business because we have to do a better job with our policies, Charlie, so that young people after high school enter into job training and they get jobs instead of going to woke universities where their mind and souls get completely ruined. And so that's where my heart is at, Charlie. My kids are age 19, 23, and 24. And it's that generation that I really care about. And they're being robbed of opportunities and being sold lies, basically saying, here's how you be successful is you have to go to college and you have to get this 4-year degree from some expensive university that you finish up with massive student loans. That is the wrong thing to tell our kids and how to start their adult lives. And I'm completely against it. But I love the trade schools. And working is one of the greatest things you can do, not partying away your late teens, early 20s.
Really quick, like 10 seconds. The press secretary said Donald Trump's an anti-Semite. Your take, 15 seconds.
You know who's the anti-Semites? The Democrat Party. I mean, honestly, look at that. They have called us Nazis. They've called him Hitler, and they have members of Congress that I serve with that support Hamas attacking Israel, and they support all these policies that are just bad for everyone.
That's right.
So they need to stop their name calling.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, thank you so much.